Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulillah amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm your brother Abdul-Lateef from Abdul-Lateef.com as well as ArabicVirtualAcademy.com, and I'm welcoming you back to this episode of Everyday Fiqh. Today we're going to talk about some of those types of ghusl that are considered to be sunan. Meaning what? Meaning that they're not ghusl that we have to take. You understand? These are ghusl that we take for extra barakah because of the fact it's from the sunan, but they're not those types of things that make those things that we're doing not acceptable if we don't do them. There are certain types of ghusl, as we know, that we have to take. And those actions that are dependent on those types of ghusl, if we don't have the ghusl, those actions aren't acceptable. But there are other types of ghusl that we do, and this is what we're going to be talking about today, or some of them, that it's better that we take a ghusl beforehand. It's a better way to put it, inshallah. The first of these is the ghusl of Yawm al-Jumu'ah. The ghusl of Yawm al-Jumu'ah. The ghusl of Yawm al-Jumu'ah is from the sunnah. It's something that's recommended that we all do. But it's not from amongst those types of ghusl that if you don't do the ghusl, that you have no Jumu'ah. Do you understand? It's not, now we're not talking about being in a situation of junub, or a woman's menses being over, and she wants to go to Jumu'ah. Then in that situation, she has to take a ghusl. But the ghusl is for the sexual impurities, or the menses, or things along these sorts. It's not specifically for Yawm al-Jumu'ah. That the ghusl for Yawm al-Jumu'ah is not an obligation to the point that if you don't do it, then your Jumu'ah still counts. Tayyib. The next of these is the ghusl for the Eidain, Eid al-Fitr wa Eid al-Adha. It's from the sunnah, as we know, too, before we go out to the salah, that we make the ghusl. But again, this is from one of those sunnah types of ghusl, meaning that if we do it, it's extra barakah. And if we don't, these acts of ibadah, the salat al-Eid and everything, is still acceptable. We have something as well, and this is not something we run into every day, everywhere. Because there are places where this salah is still prayed, even regularly in some places. And this is salat al-Istisqa. Some of you probably have heard about it, some of you haven't. And this is the salah that is done when it's a big drought. And the people are asking Allah Ta'ala to bless them with rain. Tayyib. It's called salat al-Istisqa. And before the salat al-Istisqa, we know that it's from the sunnah of the Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam to do what? To make the ghusl. But if an individual goes to make the salat al-Istisqa and he does not have or has not made his ghusl, this does not mean that the salat al-Istisqa is not acceptable. Type. Again, this is from the sunnah type of the ghusl. Now, before I go any further, because I'm only going to name a few others, because some of these things are not things that we run into every day. Tayyib. But I want to make sure that we don't get confused with the sunan of the ghusl and the sunan types of ghusl. We said that the sunan of the ghusl are those acts inside of the ghusl that are not obligatory. We're talking here about the sunan types of ghusl, meaning the types of ghusl that's from the sunnah, but they're not obligatory. Type. We need to make sure that we separate between the two, because we have a huge problem. And this is, a lot of times people lump things together that aren't the same. And then we wonder why we're not understanding certain things. So make sure in these videos and in these episodes, when I tell you there's a difference between this and that, mark it down. Make sure that you mark it down on your papers, and make sure that you mark it down in your minds so that you're able to differentiate between this and that. طيب. The next type of sunan ghusl that we're talking about are for the Eid Salah. For the eclipse Salah. Whether it's for the solar or the lunar eclipse. Both of these ghusl, or the ghusl for both of these salah, are from the sunan, or from the sunnah. And they are sunan types of ghusl. They're both from the sunnah, and they're sunan types of ghusl. Meaning again, if you don't do them, that ibadah is still accepted. Al-ghusl min ghusl al-mayyit. Once an individual washes a dead body, someone dies, after washing the body, it's from the sunnah to make a ghusl. Al-ghusl min ghusl al-mayyit. And the next one is al-kafir idha aslama. We're talking about the disbeliever. If he becomes Muslim, it is from the sunnah that this person makes a ghusl. Now, just to run things by you, to make sure that we're picking this all up. I know I keep repeating myself, but it's important that we start differentiating between things. And this is why I keep repeating myself. So if a person becomes Muslim, a disbeliever becomes Muslim, and they don't take their ghusl, is their shahada accepted? Is their Islam accepted? Or do we tell them, no, until you take a ghusl, you're not Muslim? No, of course not. This just goes to show that this type of ghusl is from the sunnah. It's a sunan type of the ghusl. The reason why I keep throwing out these terminologies is because we need to understand that when we say something is from the sunnah, some things that are from the sunnah are obligatory. Some things that are from the sunnah are just sunan, meaning that they're not obligatory. Some things from the sunnah are just permissible, and so forth. So we don't just run around, everyone's running around saying, well, this is sunnah, this is sunnah, this is sunnah. Okay, we understand it's from the sunnah. But we need to understand, is it an obligatory part of the sunnah, or is it a non-obligatory part of the sunnah? And this here, when we're talking about the disbeliever, when he becomes Muslim, then he takes a ghusl, this type of ghusl. Yes, it's from the sunnah, but it is not an obligatory ghusl. Another thing, and you might ask me why I include this in everyday fiqh, and I'll tell you. And this is the situation of a person that is majnoon, and we all know what majnoon is, or a person that passes out. Some people pass out, whether it be from high blood pressure, whether it be from sugar levels, it could be a lot of different things. Or a person that's majnoon. When these two types of people, when they go through what they go through, and then they wake up and they become like everyone else, it's from the sunnah that these people take a ghusl. The majnoon person, when he comes out of his state, it's from the sunnah that he takes a ghusl. The person that passes out, and then he does what? And then he wakes back up, is from the sunnah that this person takes a ghusl. Does it mean that this ghusl is wajib? No, it doesn't. Because why? It's from the sunan types of the ghusl. And then we have a bunch of other types of ghusl that are from the sunnah, and they're tied in with hajj. So we'll talk about those when we get to the book of hajj. Bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. So, inshallah ta'ala, we'll end it up there. And in today's episode, we've talked about what? We talked about the sunan types of the ghusl. What's the difference between the ghusl that's from the sunnah and the sunan types? We talked about the different types of ghusl that are from the sunnah. And inshallah ta'ala, all of this kicks in. You might need to listen to this video more than one time because we got a lot of information in this particular video. But if you have any questions about any of these things, you can leave them in the section below. And if you found this video to be beneficial, like it, let us know what you think in the comments section, as well as share it with your friends and family. And inshallah ta'ala, we'll meet you in the next video. Bi-idhnillahi ta'ala, hayakum Allah, subhanaka lahumma wa bihamdik, wa ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant, wa astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.